Hi class. In this part of the video, I'm going to give you some example sentences for timeless conditionals, but using sometimes, usually, always. Okay, so let's look at some sentences here. Whenever I go to bed early, I am usually rested. Now, remember, if you're going to use things like whenever, we can only use always and usually. So, whenever I brush my teeth are always clean. Okay? Now let's look at a sentence using when. When I wake up, I sometimes drink coffee. Here's my adverb sometimes, okay? Or if I wake up at 7 or 8, I sometimes drink coffee. Okay, so those are some example sentences that we can do with timeless conditionals. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about some different conditionals. This has to do with possible conditions. Now, what does that mean? What does possible conditions mean? Well, it's different from habits, okay? It's not something that you do every day, okay? So this is possible. This has to do with the possibility. So we're talking about maybe. Maybe an event will happen. Okay, we're thinking about maybe. Maybe something will happen. Okay, let's make this a darker color. Maybe. We're talking about maybe here. Okay, now in this form, we're not going to have when or whenever. Okay, this is only using, we're going back to just using if. Okay, so we have the if clause, and we have a main clause, and our verb tense is present and present. We can have present tense verb form in the main clause, and then in the main clause we can have some different verb forms. Okay, we can have may and might. May, might, okay, could, it could happen, okay. We also can have should or must. Should or must. Should, let's put must up here so that you can see that, okay. So the if clause for possible conditionals, present tense verb for the if clause, and for the main clause I can have a present tense, or I can have must, may, might, could, or should. Okay, let me rewrite this so this is clear. Should. Now remember, this has to do with maybe. It's a possible condition and a possible result. Okay, a possible event or condition and a possible result to that condition. Okay. Now we can also use some adverbs in the main clause. I can use some adverbs here. So let's talk about this. Let's give some example sentences. Some example sentences. If I go to bed late, I may be tired in the morning. If I go to bed late, I may be tired in the morning. I'm going to use may because I can use this in the main clause. This is my main clause. This is my if clause. This is present tense here. Okay? If I study for this test, I can probably get a good grade. If I study for this test, I can probably get a good grade. So we have some adverbs that we can use in the main clause. Okay? I can use probably. Okay? And I can use definitely. And I can use maybe, like together, like this. Maybe. Okay? So, let's look down here. So I used probably. Let's use probably. Okay? If I study for this test, I will probably get a good grade. Okay? So that has to do with, we can put this in a sentence right here, okay? If I study for this test, I will probably get a good grade. So these are adverbs that we can put in the main clause. So possible conditions have an if clause and a main clause. And you only can start the sentence with if. And in the main clause, you can have present tense verb, or you can have verbs like can, or you can have must or should, okay? Let me give you an example. Come here, kitty. Come here, kitty. So, I've got a big cat here, okay? He's very furry, right? All right? In possible conditions, we can have present continuous verb forms. If I am holding this cat, my shirt is definitely going to get furry. He has a lot of fur. This is a big cat. Okay? So if I am holding that cat, I am definitely going to get fur. I am definitely going to get fur on my shirt. Okay? So we can use present tense, we can use present continuous, and we can use modals here. Okay?